Welcome to the Autistic Culture Podcast, where we celebrate autistic contributions to society and culture.
Join us every Tuesday as we dive into everything from famous autistics in history to the pop culture, unique passions, and the special interests that define our community.
Whether you're autistic or love someone who is, welcome to Autistica. We're your hosts, Dr. Angela Kingdon, the linguistic autistic,
and Matt Lowry, licensed psychological practitioner. Join us as we explore the values, traditions, and identity of Autistica.
Episode 113, Lena Dunham is autistic. Well, hey, Matt.
Hey, Angela.
I'm rocking the linguistic autistic beat this week. I have one. I don't know how you're going to feel about this episode, but I have one for the girlies and my literary friends out there.
I count myself as one of your friends. Don't know about literary. Not one of the girlies.
You have literary vibes. You have literary vibes sometimes. Sometimes I think you're not going to like an episode.
Yeah.
Like I was a little worried when we did Shakespeare. I'm like, he's not going to like an episode on Shakespeare. But you were there. You can hang tough with the linguistic
I am aware of
autistics.
Shakespeare, just not to the extent that you and our guest were. Because y'all were rocking it. I felt like if I quipped in the middle, it would be very interrupting.
You're like, and also there was a ghost. No, you did good. You held strong. So we're going to see how you do this week. I don't even know the answer to this question. Do you know Lena Dunham? Do you know who she is? Do you know anything about her?
I know of her. I know of Girls. I know that Adam Driver was on the show, and he had intimate moments with the newscaster's daughter.
Saoirse. Was he with Saoirse? No, he was with the other one. Tom
NBC.
Brokaw's daughter or whatever.
NBC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she was in Get Out and
Allison Williams.
Yes.
She's very pretty.
She is.
Those
she is
scenes
a hottie.
with Adam Driver were wild.
Yes. I've never wanted to be Adam Driver so much.
Yeah.
So
no, I have, because do you know I am literally like, my lifelong obsession is Kerry Russell, who played Felicity. And I got to see Kerry Russell and Adam Driver on Broadway in a show called Burn This, which is like the hottest fucking show. And I'm like in love with both of them. It was like bisexual on point. I will take Adam Driver and Kerry Russell. Yes, please.
I will join you both.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. It's a very good show. I have no idea what happened. I believe talking occurred. I didn't hear any of it.
This is the way.
Yes, but but I'm guessing you have not seen Girls. We're going to talk about some episodes that might make you want to put it on the list.
I've seen 30-second clips or so.
Yeah,
from websites that shall not be named, but yes.
Oh, of perhaps Adam Driver and other people doing things.
Allison Williams, yes, because Allison Williams. Oh yeah, if Allison Williams listens to this, I don't know her status, but hey, hit me up.
Yeah, free diagnosis. Matt will give you free diagnosis if you're wondering. But yes, so Brian Williams was her father.
Yeah.
It's Allison Williams, Brian Williams. I remember back in the day, we used to have journalism. I'll tell you about it. Like way back when we were kids, there was like objective journalism. You would watch it and it was not propaganda for the state owned by the state.
Yes. Back in the good old days.
Yeah. So your children won't know about it, but you and I can reminisce. And we are also reminiscing about this Lena Dunham show from a long time ago. This show ran in 2012 to 2017.
Oh man.
Why am I talking about it now? When you talk about things that are old, you'll be like, and this new season is coming out. The movie version is coming out. Here is my story of why we're talking about this show today. 2 reasons. Please stay tuned. Number 1, Taylor Swift. Our hottest episode is
we should
the Taylor
start
Swift
off every episode with that.
Taylor Swift.
If you like Taylor Swift, you'll like this episode about chimichangas.
I'm not going to get to Taylor Swift to the end, so you have to hang out. But there is a trail that I'm going to build that goes back to Taylor Swift, who is actually a friend of Lena Dunham's. And
Oh, really?
that is a part of why I'm doing this
Was
episode.
she ever on the show? And should I Google that?
She wasn't.
Oh,
she
that's a
wasn't.
shame.
But we will make in part 3 of today's show. We will get to it. However, the actual thing that happened, which might make me a bad person, I'm not sure, but I was scrolling on Instagram, and I must have way back in the days of Girls, I watched Girls. I liked it. I mean, I definitely liked it a lot, but it wasn't like I haven't watched it 5 times like Felicity or something. Like it was, yeah, it was a show I watched. It was fine. Wouldn't have done an episode about it by any means. But then I'm scrolling and I see this unrecognizable picture of Lena Dunham. Have you seen Lena Dunham lately?
I Wikipedia'd her when I learned that we were doing this episode.
Yeah. She does not look like the girl from Girls at all. I don't know. Like, look up a recent picture. What does she
look like now?
She looks like the girl from Girls 10 years and 150 pounds and a whole lot of stress later.
Oh, my.
But not even recognizable. Like,
so the past decade has not been kind.
And I'm like, the fuck? And like, be any weight. Like, I'm fat. I love fat people. It's fine. We're supposed to have a diversity of sizes. That's not what this is about. I'm not fat shaming her, but I was like, what is she also in the Facebook or in the Instagram scrolling, she had the cutest fucking outfit on. So I had to like close up, 1, to see the outfit because I would like to buy it. And 2, because I was like, is this AI of Lena Dunham? Like, who is this person? How have I missed this? And it was an anniversary post about her getting diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos.
Ooh, the stretchy 1 of 13 type tissue condition that affects a lot of autistic people.
And let me tell you, there are, because I have some hyperconnectivity, not diagnosed. My son has hyperconnectivity, or what's it called? Is that it? Hypermobile.
Yeah, hypermobility.
Hypermobility.
I could twist my feet around 180
Yeah, you
degrees.
have more than I do. Like I have, yeah. I got a little. I'm a little, but like on that Baton test, I'm like right on the line. Like whatever of the 13 kinds of EDS she had, I think is not the good kind. I think I might have the good kind, and she has the not good kind. So. Are some of them like much more like she seems like she has been in chronic pain since this show ended.
Ouch.
Like real bad.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah. So I'm going to get to that. But first, I'm going to give you some background on Lena and her history. And then we're going to talk about Girls, because I think there's some really juicy autistic stuff in there. And I will tell you, the EDS, and I don't have these numbers. Maybe I'll put something in the show notes. But when somebody tells me they have EDS, I'm like, do you know you're autistic?
Yeah.
Because it's
I've never met a person that has EDS who wasn't autistic.
Like maybe there's one, but yeah. I'm like, so I don't know if she knows it or not. So then I went back and watched Girls, and I'm like, oh my God, this is why I like this show. It's a fucking autistic show by an autistic creator.
Oh.
Totally. So we're going to talk about some episodes, and then we will finally wrap it up by getting to the Taylor Swift connection.
Oh,
and
I
you will
about
see,
that already.
You know what we have? We have autistic friendships. That is what we have. So this is really an autistic friendship episode, but you got to wait to get to it. So let me give you the 411 on Lena, just so we get all this out of the way.
You're going to give us the background, just like Adam Driver got the background on Allison Williams.
Oh yeah, he did.
I would like to get that background.
Ooh,
but yes. But
yeah,
yes.
Me too. Okay. So first of all, I knew this. I've known this, and it's so obvious when you know it. Lena is a New York City girl. She was born in 1986, May 13th. For those who know astrology, that will be one of the 12 zodiac signs.
So we are of the same, house, element?
Sign?
What sign? There you go. That's the thing.
What is your date?
May 11th.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what your sign is?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, good. Well, so is Lena Dunham. Great.
Yes.
We took care of that. I didn't have to Google it.
Yeah. When I tell people that I'm autistic, they say, I don't see it. And I say, well, I'm a Taurus. And they say, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
but go on.
Do you know Tauruses are very loyal? That's
Ah,
what they're
we
known
are
for. Yes, I appreciate that about you. And
very, very
probably
grounded
Lena,
people.
grounded, loyal. Anyway, parents are New York City artists, like old school New York City, like 70s and 80s Greenwich Village artists. So her mom is a painter named Carol Dunham. Her oh, maybe that's her dad. Her dad is a painter, Carol Dunham, and her mom is a photographer, Lori Simmons.
Ah,
Lena went to all the art schools, was in all the art circles, eventually goes to a super artsy liberal arts college, Oberlin. She graduated in 2008 with a degree in creative writing. And one of the things that attracted me to for many autistic people, creative writing is a special interest. I run for our paid supporters a group called Neurodivergent Narratives,
I've
where
seen
we
that.
do creative writing. So this is a very common special interest. We do have men in the group too, but it's maybe slightly more on the autistic female spectrum. So this could have been a sign. I didn't see it, but obviously as a writer, there's a lot of stuff in the show. The character that Lena Dunham plays is a writer. So she's dealing with rejection. She has massive rejection sensitivity, dysphoria that comes up a lot. Of course, you're putting yourself into a career where people are going to critique your shit and then you're going to freak out and have to stay in bed for weeks.
It happens.
So that's a big, big connection point for me. She also, I think the way that she got the girls deal, because she was super young. So remember, she's born in 86, graduates in 2008. And by, what did I tell you, 2012?
Yeah.
How many people that are 4 years out of college, undergrad college, get a smash TV show on HBO? Cannot be common.
I tried. Yeah.
If I were greenlighting, I would greenlight your show. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was probably like Autism After Dark, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. So she does this college film. It's called Tiny Furniture. It's about a post-college existential crisis. And the character she plays, which
like
is
a
basically
transition issue. Yeah, go on.
Difficulty with transitions again. Didn't see
how
it.
About that?
She portrays a recent college grad, which she was, returning to her family's Tribeca loft, which she had. And it's essentially the same character she plays on Girls. The film premieres at South by Southwest in 2010. It wins Best Narrative Feature. She's in, I don't know, Film Threat. I'm making that up. It's the only film magazine I know, but she's in the film magazines. And then Judd Apatow
of Freaks and Geeks, 40-Year-Old Virgin, and other such autistic-centered shows and movies. Go on.
Is like, well, I love this. You've
Can't
really nailed
why.
it. Yeah, exactly. Well, he didn't know. I didn't know either. I'm like, why do we like this? So me and Judd Apatow have the same taste, apparently. He brings it to HBO. So this is the thing that was missing with your show. You needed Judd Apatow to see it and bring it to HBO. They weren't going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And HBO, I mean, can you imagine 2010, you have a movie in South by Southwest. By 2012, your show is greenlit and made?
Wow.
Things don't move that fast.
Yeah, that makes me insecure about the trajectory of my own career. Not quite as prolific at the age of 20. So yeah.
Ridiculous. So she and then it does really well. All the acclaim, all the awards. I don't know, look them up. I can't tell you what they are, but this show is everywhere. I don't know. Directing awards, acting awards. She sort of becomes a media darling. And at this point, I follow her on Instagram, later to find out she is one of us. And she writes this book that I was so excited when it came out. I love the cover. I bought it immediately. I pre-ordered it. And it's called Not That Kind of Girl. A young woman tells you what she's learned, in quotes. And it's like a series of personal essays. memoir style writing. It's exactly what we do in neurodivergent narratives.
Also,
And we're,
very Emily Dickinson sort of thing.
yes, indeed. And I got this book. I loved it. I read it, I think, the day it came out. And then she got trashed. And I don't even want to get into this. I don't even, trigger warning. She writes a very raw essay, which is how she writes. Her stuff is very in your face. It's very shocking. And she writes something that is either interpreted or misinterpreted that she is basically a sexual offender. I don't want to get into it too much, but she basically gets canceled for sexual assault.
Oh my.
She like told on herself in a way that was not greeted warmly.
Are we going full Michael Jackson on this, or
it was a sibling?
Potentially. Oh.
And
oh
maybe we have something horrible, or maybe we have playing doctor. You got to read it. It didn't hit me that way when I read it, but it was instantly like, I don't know. People thought she was going to go to jail. It was like very bad.
Oh my.
And then that was it. And then she disappeared. I remember having the book on my shelf, but not like revisiting it or rereading it. Or when I'm coaching my memoir clients, I didn't use it as an example because I knew it might be triggering. I didn't like bring the book to a little mini library, like I wasn't like, okay, I have to get this off my shelf. But she was just gone, like poof, she was gone. She was everywhere. And then she was gone. At this point, what was happening is also her career was falling apart. Her marriage falls apart, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And she is dealing with this mystery chronic illness where she keeps passing out. She can't regulate her temperature. She can't stand. So she's literally standing up and passing out and has no idea what's wrong.
That'll do it.
Do you know what she has?
POTS, it sounds like.
Yeah. So POTS and then later EDS, but she literally, everything is falling apart.
Very closely tied.
And a minute ago, we were talking about how exciting it is that she like went to college, made a movie, went to South by Southwest, got a film greenlit by HBO. Does this sound like an autistic thing that happens? Works 24 hours a day, wins every award, is a media darling, and then is fucking hated by everyone. So yeah. I am sure she has EDS and POTS, which is what she's diagnosed with and what she talks about very publicly. You know what else she had?
I'm guessing the autism.
An autistic burnout.
Yeah.
She crashed.
It sounds like it because, again, you and this is a common thing among autistic people because when you're young and vital and stuff, you put a lot of energy out there, and then for some reason, we expect that we're going to be able to maintain that level of energy output throughout our lives. We cannot.
The some reason is everyone is like, you're amazing. I mean, I know because I did this. Yeah. I had 5 years of like riding high and everyone's like, you're amazing. You're incredible. And I was like, yes, I am amazing and incredible. And I was winning all the awards, Entrepreneur of the Year. I was traveling 200 days of the year. I would go to airports and people would stop me to take pictures with me. And I thought I was that.
I'm very lucky by comparison because every boss I've ever had told me that I am a terrible person and I will die alone. So,
well, I did get fired. It was only when I did my own thing. But Lena's out there doing her own thing, and when we are allowed to do our own thing, you've gone viral on social media without even having a TikTok account.
I did, yes. It put me in a very unusual position. I still don't know how to work TikTok or Instagram, but yet heavily shared on both. So thank you, TikTok and Instagram. I don't know how you work.
Don't learn it, because here's the thing is like out of the box thinking, nobody else thought of reframing the DSM. Why? Like bottom up processing. Like when we do things like when Lena Dunham did Girls, people are like, holy shit, what is this? How has no one thought of it?
Yeah.
Like Emily Dickinson, like her great grandniece Taylor Swift. People are like, what is this? I must possess it. I must own all of you. And the reason why I say, like, don't get on TikTok, they will eat you alive, like Dylan Mulvaney. Like they will devour you like they devoured Lena Dunham. And then, not that she didn't have POTS or EDS all along, and maybe you can tell me more about this, but I know for me, I was definitely a high functioning, fully verbal speaking autistic person. And then
Yeah.
suddenly I was non speaking,
Yeah.
which made no sense to me because I am high functioning. Watch me go. I am a millionaire. I am famous in airports. And now I can't talk or rise from my closet floor.
Well, there is a reason for that, but unfortunately, we'll have to stop speaking for a moment to allow for a moment from our sponsor. But when we come back, we will talk about why this occurs, why the functional labels are insane and inconsistent, and why that is tied to all the dysautonomia, the falling apart of our meat bodies, and so forth.
Okay, let's take a break. Hey, everybody. This is Angela, and I have an incredible opportunity to share with you from friend of the pod and one of my favorite authors that I've had the opportunity to work with, Becca Lori Hector. Becca's book, Always Bring Your Sunglasses, is a heartfelt and honest look at life through the lens of an autistic adult, filled with insights, personal stories, and a heck of a lot of empowerment. And she is offering it totally 100% free to our listeners. All you have to do is visit alwaysbringyoursunglasses.com. That's alwaysbringyoursunglasses.com for a free copy of Becca's book.
So we are back.
Yes, indeed. So we're talking about Lena Dunham, and I was saying how she was super high functioning. She's got a, TV show. She's like famous. She's making all the money. She's doing all the things. And then crash and burn, EDS and POTS show up out of nowhere. And I had a similar thing happen.
Out of nowhere with air quotes. Go on.
Out of nowhere with air quotes. So please explain to me, why does this happen to us where we seem like everything's going fine and we could keep doing it forever, and then we actually, it turns out, can't?
So, Neurodiversity Unbroken has a great meme about this that talks about autism being a quote unquote dynamic disability, because we are very much governed by how much stress we can handle, like humans. Because when we are relatively stress free in an environment like the majority of my work is here in this nice comfy chair where I'm wearing comfy clothes. I'm wearing a black t-shirt and cotton shorts, bare feet, sitting here. I can talk with people about their problems all day long, but I also don't get out and get into traffic. I don't deal with strangers. I don't deal with a lot of
smells,
other stress.
Weird smells.
Exactly.
You walk into a place with weird smells.
My environment is highly, highly, highly controlled. So I'm able to handle a lot more and be on top of my game. Granted, I am, with the collapse of the world around us, my executive functioning has fallen, and I'm not getting back in touch with people as fast as I should with emails and that kind of thing. But, I'm still on top of it with clients and the podcast.
Right.
But the more stress we have, the more it tears up our bodies, because we don't know if there is a one-to-one correlation between autism and POTS, EDS, mast cell activation syndrome, PCOS, PMDD, fibromyalgia, eczema, psoriasis, allergies,
hypothyroid stuff.
Hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's. All of these things are tied to autistic people. But again, a lot of them might also be what we call epigenetic, meaning that they're in our genes, but not activated until chronic stress eats away at our DNA. Because the more we're exposed to cortisol, the more the tips of our DNA, like the aglets on shoelaces, right?
Yeah, I know what an aglet is.
the people listening to the show, if you know what an egglet is, you might be autistic. So anyway,
Okay. I remember the day I learned too.
Yes, the tips of shoelaces, the little plastic tips of shoelaces. Imagine your DNA having these little tips, but they're slowly dissolved by acid. And when they're dissolved, you see the shoelaces start to unravel, right? And the same is sort of like that with our DNA, that the more cortisol we have, the more it stays in there, the more our DNA starts to unravel. And then the more chronic stuff starts to pop up, like POTS and EDS and all this other sort of really chronic health issues. So when neurotypical doctors say, that's very rare, you can't possibly have that, it's very common for us because we experience far more stress than neurotypical people because we live in a world that constantly bombards us with sensory information, with data. We have to mask all the time. We have more stuff that stresses us out than neurotypicals do. So we are more likely to have all of these things. But again, we don't know if it's a 1-to-1 ratio that just plain being autistic means it's more common, or if it's the stressful autistic world or the stressful allistic world that causes this to make our beat bodies fall apart.
And having to live here in this world.
Yeah. But again, after burnout, that's incredibly common because the burnout is when your body just kind of breaks down from stress and then all of a sudden it doesn't work as well anymore.
Right. And that is basically what happened. The one thing I remembered first of all, from girls, I kind of knew there were, I don't know, some mental health quirks. Let's call it anxiety. There was this episode where she's like counting steps or something. I was like, there was like an OCD episode. Her mom was worried about her. She had a therapist. There you go.
A very common thing for us. Hence, see the vampires episode.
That's true. One. So I'm going to put the vampires episode in the show notes too. She definitely talks about difficulty with change. There's a whole thing about clothing, like clothing sensitivities tags. We know that about her. Her character and her are hyper fixated on writing, and her character, and I'm guessing her, have this very strict creative process. And there's a lot of autistic inertia to it. So she won't write, can't get out of bed, drinks, has sex with strangers, and then all of a sudden does nothing but write for 4 days straight.
This is the way.
This is the way, indeed. A little bit her character, but definitely her. I knew this about her. She's got a thing for feminist theory, and that comes through, which I think was an autistic special interest now that I know. And then she's like super blunt, and people have feelings about her.
Oh my.
Like, people
a blunt woman, you say?
Yeah, speaking of feminist theory, right? So she is the joke, but of many jokes. She is often misinterpreted. I don't want to comment on her book, but the thought has crossed my mind that she was misinterpreted, but also that she probably didn't pick up social cues that you shouldn't write what she wrote. But
yeah, it's always good to have someone give a second eye over the things that you put out there publicly.
Right. Definitely a very, you can see many signs, but I want to talk specifically about episodes of girls that hit me different after I saw that EDS post of hers. So in season 6, she writes, so her character's name is Hannah, and Hannah Horvath. And season 6, episode 3, there's a episode called American Bitch, where she confronts Chuck Palmer, who is like a very well-known, by this point, by season 6, I think it only had 6 seasons, maybe 7. And so they moved into that celebrity, the celebrity appearance thing.
Yeah. To keep the hype going.
Exactly. And you know, the writing was definitely not as good in my opinion in the later episodes, but
when we hit season 12 of the podcast and Cookie Monster shows up, you know we've jumped the shark. But at the same time, I very much look forward to that episode.
Yes.
Go on.
Me too, exactly. So he writes an article about sexual misconduct allegations. She writes an episode about him. This is all Me Too, back in Me Too-y thing.
Yeah.
And it gets into this whole kind of Oleana-esque power dynamics, consent, the complexities of male-female interactions. Oleana is a play that's written by David Mamet. David Mamet's daughter, Zosha Mamet, is one of the main characters on the show. What's her name? Shoshana. So she has these two super close friends, and it's Marnie and Shoshana. They're like her college friends. Marnie is Allison Williams, who we mentioned earlier. And then Zosha plays Shoshana, and they're like her girlfriends. And David Mamet is kind of an icon, not kind of, he is an icon of theater and gets it, probably also autistic, TBH. And really, this episode talks about how influential men can manipulate narratives to their advantage. It talks about the gray area around consent, and societal expectations of gender and gender roles. And this episode came out in February of 2017. It's right before Me Too takes off. And it definitely resonated. He's like I think he's a professor, but he's also a writer. And all these lines are crossed in terms of power, and he's attractive in this certain way. So it's kind of like a Neil game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's really in this episode because I know feminist history and I know David Mamet's work are like special interests of hers. She's really tapping into gender norms, kind of conversations that I would say between social justice, gender norms, special interests. This is definitely like her autism coming out and pattern matching.
Of course.
She sees this February 2017, months before Me Too is really a thing, because she's putting this all together. So when I watched that, I was like, oh, okay, I can see this. The one that hit me as like super autistic that I kind of got in the moment but didn't make the connection. So if you just want to catch this one, it's called On All Fours. It's season 2, episode 9. Yeah. Also that. It is a very dirty show, but so this is where she is really struggling to write because of her OCD. So she's created so many rituals and she has so many intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviors. She has to do all this counting. And in the process, which I have a lot of ear issues. I think we've talked about this. I always had ear infections.
Yeah.
I have
we are more likely to have ear infections for some reason.
I have vestibular whatever. I got all the vestibular problems. I'm very sensory avoidant. Like things have to be really bad for me to rock because it makes me nauseous.
Really?
Yeah.
I rock right now.
Yeah. I do lots of things. I sing. I have like a lot of singy stims. I bite my nails. Like I'm very stimmy, but rocking makes me pukey. Everything makes me pukey. Riding in car, walking. Walking actually makes me nauseous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And so I walk, and I also am super dyspraxic and I fall all the time. We were on break between recording episodes and I was walking from the living room where I'm recording to the kitchen where I was making a cup of coffee, and I fell between. There's not that far. It's 25 feet. My jeans are not skinny jeans because I have been told skinny jeans are no longer fashionable. So now I'm trying to wear like not skinny jeans. They're not bell bottoms, but when I walk, my feet catch on the bottom of the jeans and I always fall like walking downstairs. It's bad. I fall so much. It's ridiculous.
This is the way.
It's so bad. It's so annoying. It's going to be bad when I'm like old and my bones are fragile.
You're going to need a rollator or something.
I need to just not
stylish
move.
mobility assistance.
Okay.
I have a wizard staff.
Yeah, I need that. I definitely need.
I like how you just don't question that I have a wizard staff because of course
obviously.
You do. Yes, go on.
I mean, first of all, you are a wizard, but second of all, like who wouldn't? And then the fact it doubles as a fashionable mobility aid.
Yeah.
We have a TeePublic shirt that says like mobility aids are cool. And
yes,
it's a dinosaur with a wizard staff, I believe. You should go buy that.
Yes.
Merch. Okay. Merch. Yeah, get the merch. So she, God, I can't even say this. It freaked me out so much. She sticks a cotton swab, a Q-tip too far in her ear.
Oh, God.
I don't like talking about it. I can feel it. And I have done it. I have maybe not too far, but I think about it. I can't anyway.
It's fascinating that Q-tips are known for the one thing that you shouldn't do with them.
I know. And they have like big notes on them. And then they make special Q-tips that don't fit in your ear. And you know what? I don't want those motherfuckers.
Because you can't put them in your ear.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? Like, yeah. I don't have any other activities. So yes. So very OCD centric episode. With a lot of, counting. What was the word for counting again?
Erythromania.
Yeah, that. Obviously not touching onto autism, but now when I watch it, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing about like good autistic representation because we really need to do an episode about It's Gonna Be Okay because again, it's the show where the guy started out with autistic representation with his sister, diagnosed autistic in real life, diagnosed autistic on the show, but he didn't know that he was autistic. He thought he was just quirky until the very end where it turns out in real life he was diagnosed autistic. So all the character quirks in retrospect add up to the autism, just like in real life where you think you're just quirky, but it turns out you're autistic this entire time.
Right. Exactly. So, okay. So definitely check that one out if you are new to the world of girls, or if you missed it, or if you would like to see a person with EDS in her sweet spot zone as a writer. Another episode I am going to recommend is called Dead Inside. This is season 3, episode 4. And in this one, Jessa. So Jessa is this character who like lives in England. She's like what's it called? Like she's an in and out. She's like not one of the main core, but she shows up a lot. She's got like a British accent.
Friend?
Yeah. Jemima Kirk is the actress's name. She plays Jessa. I have lots of feelings about Jessa. I didn't really like her all that much. But she is talking to Shoshana. So Shoshana's the one who's David Mamet's daughter, Zosha. So 2 of these girls that are friends. And it is Jessa's editor. So Jessa's also a writer. And it's Jessa's editor's funeral. And there are all these things about Shoshana being too blunt. And there's this whole thing about like a Gawker website, but there's this one scene where Jessa and Shoshana are talking about people they know who have died. And then Shoshana talks about, remember I told you I think David Mamet is autistic and I think his daughter Zosha is. So Shoshana being on the spectrum, as we say in How You Describe Autistic People, she had a friend who passed away, but good thing because her friend group was getting like really crowded. So there's this whole thing about Shoshana. She's like, but it was a good thing he died because it was really crowded. So,
needed to thin the herd a bit,
right? And so then Shoshana is like, they actually use the phrase, Jessa says Shoshana is on the spectrum.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, it does. It was Jessa's best friend in the world. And when it comes to how she dies, we get, and I think she choked on her vomit or something.
Oh my.
But Shauna tells her to find the girl's mom. And there's this whole, we go down this rabbit hole of whether Shoshana is autistic, which is interesting because one thing I can tell you is autistic people tend to find each other.
Yeah, we are very, very much the Aut radar is Autidar. I call it the Tism Tingle.
The Tism Tingle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. So anyway, and by the way, no Tism Tingle on Jessa for me. She's like a tall blonde Victoria's Secrets model. Not that there are not tall blonde Victoria's Secret model autistic people, because there for sure are. But
hopefully in the Louisville area.
Yeah, call Matt. But anyway, I am always much more on Team Shoshana than Team Jessa, and that episode brought it out. Okay, one more episode, and then we could take a break. And this one was the one for me. This is actually, it's not an episode. It was like 3. It was a little theme, season 4. This little section changed my life. So my whole life, I have always wanted to be picked for something called the Iowa Writers Workshop. I've never applied.
Unaware that Iowa had a writers workshop.
It is the one, the
Iowa.
Only, the best, the very best writers, all the best writers, they go to Iowa. And in the linguistic autistic world, Iowa is the dream, right?
Wow.
And I've never like applied or anything like that, but it's always been like, someday if I'm good enough, I don't know, Iowa will call or something. Anyway, Hannah.
I hope you're good enough for Iowa. Yes.
Listen, the Iowa Writers Workshop is the best. Wow. It's all the best writers. It's the best.
All right.
Anyway, Hannah gets in, and as soon as she gets in, I'm having all the feels. And it is so much like my PhD program. It is so shocking. So the way my PhD program worked was we would sit with a very quirky and often bullying professor that encouraged like meanness. And then we would each present our ideas, like maybe 8 people around a conference table. And the job was to tear everyone down as much as possible and say how bad their work was. And the idea
Why did you sign up for Professor Snape's class?
Oh my God. The idea is it's supposed to make you better. I didn't know. Every time I was surprised, Matt, I would present something and I would be like, this time everyone will love it. And never did they love it. It was never about loving it. It was about attacking. I was probably doing the attacking too. But I've always wanted to go to Iowa, and here, this was the deal, is they would have to like read a page. They would get a prompt. And this is how I run neurodivergent narratives, is almost completely a reaction to season 4, episodes 1-3, Iowa, triggering, and female author. This is what we don't do. So everyone sits around, you have to read, and then everyone tells you how terrible you are and how you should kill yourself, basically. What we do is it's only positive feedback or no feedback or observations about what you told, but no attack. It is an attack-free. Your rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria will not be triggered. And there are ways that you can ask for very specific feedback. Like, did this work? Does this metaphor make sense to you? What does it mean to you? One of the things I teach my clients is when they write a book with me, we all get beta readers at the end. So I usually recommend 3 to 5 beta readers, but your beta readers have a specific job, which is to summarize each chapter in 1 to 3 sentences. Don't tell me it's a good or not. Don't tell me if I should have roller skating in it. Don't tell me that I shouldn't write it in first. You don't fucking know. It's my creative work. Shut the fuck up. I know. Instead, tell me what you got out of it.
Just to make sure that there's no molestation allegations or, just to clear that up. Just to make sure that
what did you get out of it? And it's not just that. It's that we often write and we think it's super clear.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to summarize it for me. What did you get out of it? And then that will tell me what I have to change if that's not what I wanted you to get out of it.
Yeah. I have been there.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, so what I am taking from this chapter is that you molested your sister. Oh, nope, not what I meant. Like, let me clean that up. Yeah. So anyway, her soul is destroyed. They hate her. I mean, they hate her so very much.
On the show, in real life, where are we
in these 3 episodes, season 4, episodes 1, 2, and 3, Iowa triggering a female author. She leaves. She has no friends, social isolation. It is so clear in this episode, what is it called? Like 3-part
trilogy?
No, when there's like a whole season, but there's 3 episodes
story
that
arc?
are to be story arc. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good job. You get a little award. Anyway, it's very clear she's autistic in this particular series, in this little story arc here.
So that leaves us not just at the commercial break, but the apparent end of the episode?
It is not the end of the episode, because we are going to come back from this break and we're going to talk about her real life friendships and how, unlike at Iowa, she surrounds herself with autistic people.
Fancy that.
A lot of times you think, oh, I'm going to go to Iowa and people will see I'm a brilliant writer and I'll make lots of new friends. No, stay with the people that know you, that understand you. Nothing magical is happening in Iowa. That's what she learns. I want to tell you about her real life friend group and how that all happens after this break.
Hey, clinicians. Are you looking for an affirming way to assess autism and ADHD that bridges the gap between self-identification and formal testing? NeuroPebble's diagnostic assessment training for master's level clinicians is here to help you confidently navigate assessments. This course prioritizes lived experience and understanding the nuances in the diversity of traits. You can even get 7 CEUs if you need them. Start today at bit.ly/neuropebble and take the first step towards transforming your practice. At NeuroPebble, every idea is a pebble that paves the path to a more neurodivergent affirming world. Go to bit.ly/neuropebble to learn more.
All right, we are back from break, but before break, I must have said something that made you laugh at me or in general.
I just love that the message so far is that Iowa is a wasteland that will inevitably crush your soul, because it's apparently the writer's haven, but they're all very, very terrible people. So fuck Iowa.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, not the whole state. I'm sure they're great. It's really just the writer's workshop, not the whole state. Want to clarify. Also, what I would like to...
we're preparing for angry letters from Iowa.
Yeah. I'm like, Iowa listeners, we love you. And I think like my PhD program, Jesus, it was really hard. I think this works for some people. I get why it would make you a better writer to have 10 great writers rip up your work.
I would not like that.
Right.
I would like Stephen King to come in and say, I really enjoyed your work.
Mm-hmm.
I would like Neil Gaiman to say, your work is great. Sorry about all that crime I did.
Right. Or like the thing I try and do when people send me, so if you're one of our paying supporters and you're in neurodivergent narratives, one of the things you can do is email me your writing and I will read it. And what I try and do is pick out what did work for me rather
Yeah.
than focusing, I think, on what we're trained at. Now, I think we worry, and this happens with parenting too, right? Like as a parent of a neurodivergent kid who has both rejection sensitivity dysphoria and a PDA profile.
Yeah.
First of all, I can't get that kid to do anything. I cannot tell him, eat your food, drink your drink, put on your coat, please wear pants and not shorts. No, it is never going to happen. And I think people from the outside are like, well, just tell him he has to. And I think, well, you just tell him he has to, and you let me know how that goes for you. Enjoy. The second thing is, if I critique the idea of, let's say, wearing shorts and not pants, it doesn't make him not want to wear the shorts. It just makes him feel like shit about it. And it is very ineffective. It doesn't do anything except for like create distance between us.
Yes.
So I don't lie and say, hey, I think it's a great idea that you're wearing shorts on a snowy day. Like I'm not making things up, but I might focus on like, hey, your hair looks good today. Or, I like how you repacked your backpack. And I always try and focus on those positive things because I feel like so many people have wanted to tell me I should lose weight in my life as if I didn't know. Like as if it hadn't crossed my mind. Oh, should I lose weight? You say hadn't crossed my mind.
My response will always be from now on, whenever someone says that I'm too fat, I will say, quote unquote, fuck you, Iowa. And it will leave them confused.
And they'll be confused, but we'll get it.
Yeah, we will understand because fuck you, Iowa.
You can leave in the show notes. What would you like to say? Fuck you, Iowa, too.
Yeah.
I don't
find, of the world. Yeah.
For me, I do not find criticism is what makes me show up better.
No, why would it?
Well, I think it does for the others.
Neurotypicals are weird.
Yeah, I know. This surprises you every time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But I do see
they love criticism.
Logic. I do see the logic. It just, for me, I shut down and I do what Lena Dunham did. I leave. I'm like, well, I will leave. So
she threw up her hands, screamed, fuck you, Iowa, and moved on.
Yeah. I feel like there's a Taylor Swift song in there, but I should get to my Taylor Swift story.
I want Taylor Swift to have a song called Fuck You, Iowa.
She does. She has one.
Fuck
You,
God.
Amy. It's called Fuck You, Amy.
Oh. Amy probably came from Iowa.
Yeah, Amy did. Amy is actually Kim Kardashian. But anyway, rabbit hole. Okay,
right.
Out of the rabbit hole. Lena Dunham, at the time of her great fame, there was a band that I really like. The band is called Fun, period, full stop, for my British friends. And they were very famous at the same time. And one of the members of this band is a guy named Jack Antonoff.
Okay.
Jack and Lena were like sweethearts, like artistic sweethearts. Like this again is when I followed her Instagram. They meet in 2012. So again, she graduates from Oberlin in 2008, wins all these awards at South by Southwest in 2010, has a show on HBO in 2012, meets the love of her life. She gets sent on a blind date from Jack's sister Rachel and Mike Birbiglia. Do you know the comedian Mike Birbiglia? I love him.
I do not.
Anyway, famous comedian who I'm assuming is friends with Lena Dunham because she's a writer in New York and whatever. Anyway, immediately they hit it off. It was like love at first sight. Both writers, like incredible writers. I think they like lesbian U-Haul did. I think he moved in 2 weeks later to her house in Brooklyn. They Jack had another band called the Bleachers in addition to Fun. And I think they like wrote songs together. There was a whole thing. And a lot of these songs are about depression, anxiety, OCD. And if you listen carefully, things that sort of tip me off that there is definitely neurodivergence and maybe some autism there. So he writes
Yeah.
about needing routine, control, managing the chaos, cleanliness. He has a little germophobia. He has pneumonia in 2011. And so he's hyper focused on hygiene. Any of this sound familiar?
That's my life. Yes.
He's like, yes, why? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And so these 5 years that she has the show, where she probably doesn't realize it, but there's a lot of writing you have to do for a show. And if you are artistic, you are going to be writing about your neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Like, see
Well,
Eminem
you
for
write what
details.
you know. Again, Stephen King's first novel, Carrie, about an autistic woman. But yes.
Yeah, very interesting. Wait, should we be doing a Stephen King episode?
I think we very much should. I've been very much wanting it, but you're the one with the literary background, so I
Well,
figured
Stephen
you might
King
want to.
is my husband's. That's his special interest.
I figured you might want to take care of that one. Yeah, but yeah.
Wow. Stephen King was not on my list. I didn't even know he's scary, but wow, that makes so much sense. I'm having an epiphany.
Yeah, no one else can write 100 books a week, so yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, well, all of this is happening, but also, like, I'm sorry, one little diversion on Stephen King. He set up even though he writes a lot, he set up this super low demand lifestyle.
Yeah, very much so.
Which is, by the way, you guys, the secret.
Yeah, that's that again. Sitting here in my easy chair with no shoes because this is the only way I can function.
Okay, so show ends. Book is sort of a critical disaster, and now this madly in love relationship. They got married. They were everywhere. They break up.
Oh.
This basically almost kills Lena Dunham. This is right before her EDS and her POTS are triggered. She describes
breakups will destroy you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that we would know anything about that.
Yeah.
And so during these 5 years, at the same time that Jack Antonoff is meeting Lena Dunham, he meets Taylor Swift. He meets her at the MTV Music Awards in November of 2012. So remember, he met, I think it was May 2012 that he met Lena on a blind date. Now, right around the same time, he meets Taylor Swift. And I don't know if you'll know this band. It's Alison Moyet is the lead singer. Looking out the window of love, here's a story of love, you can hear me. So Yazoo was what the band was called in, I think, Australia and the UK. And then in the US, it's called Yaz, or vice versa. They had two names because of copyright issues.
Fascinating.
All I wanted was the love you gave. Only You. That was that song. Anyway, I think that's their like big hit in the US, but they had hits. And Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift love Yazoo. They bond over Yazoo. They decide they're going to write a song together. And this kicks off one of the most prolific partnerships in the history of music. Jack Antonoff moves from his own bands and projects to really working. I don't know if it's exclusively that he's Taylor's producer, but he produced a lot of her big stuff. So 1989, that was when he was still with Lena Dunham. He did Out of the Woods. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet?
Is this the guy that took ownership of all of her music, or the?
No, that's the bad guy. That's Scooter Braun. We hate him.
Okay, good.
This is the good guy.
Okay.
He came back and re-recorded all the songs that Scooter owns.
Oh, good.
So that was good. He did a bunch of songs on Reputation, which we're waiting for Rep TV, Taylor's version of Reputation. Lover, which was prolific. And then she has these two, this is now after Jack and Lena break up, but she has these two albums. They're sister albums, Folklore and Evermore. She makes them during COVID. They're very Emily Dickinson, like literally channeling her great aunt. And Jack Antonoff writes them with her, and they make movies about them. He co-produces and co-wrote most of Midnight's, which is the Hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me, and Cruel Summer, like big songs. They become best friends. And as they are becoming best friends, she is, of course, also becoming friends with Lena Dunham.
Because they were still together at the time.
They were still together. They met at the same time. They did their first collaboration in 2013, which was Sweeter Than Fiction on the One Chance soundtrack. Then they did Out of the Woods on 1989. They were still together. Then they did Reputation. That's when all the Kanye shit's going down. Kim and
yes.
Kanye, which, by the way, Fuck You Amy is about Kim Kardashian. So all of this is happening, and Jack's songs are all about being autistic.
Yeah.
Taylor, we've quoted a bunch of her lyrics from these songs that are co-written by Jack. And then Jack is also writing with Lena, his girlfriend, for part of this. And by the way, Jack and Lena are very sweet. They're still friends. They quote each other. They share each other's Instagrams. They're both in other relationships that seem very lovely. Lena Dunham went to the Eras tour in London. They hung out. There are pictures in People magazine. So, but I think this is very fucking interesting that this huge prolific time in Taylor Swift's life, in Lena Dunham's life, and in Jack Antonoff's life, all of these relationships are intertwined. They're writing together, they're interacting, even though the marriage didn't work out for whatever reasons. And even though Lena Dunham has all these health issues, I'm like, girls and the Jack Antonoff Taylor partnership, these are all intimately connected in what happens when autistic people see each other, validate each other's special interests, connect, and we aren't dealing with isolation. When you hang out with autistic people, you are less likely to face some of the challenges of double empathy, where you're not understanding the other person and they're not understanding you, like what happened in Iowa.
Yeah.
So I was very delighted when my little scrolling on Instagram turned into this whole rabbit hole of, oh my God, our Taylor Swift episode was also a Lena Dunham, Jack Antonoff episode.
It's all linked.
It's all connected. Like Only Murders, we have our 3 autistic friends there. Here we have our 3 autistic friends creating so much incredible art in that 2012 to 2017 period. Obviously, Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift have gone on to work together. I wouldn't be surprised if Lena Dunham comes out of her burnout and creates with Antonoff or Swift again. She seems very happy. She's in a very stable relationship, what it seems like anyway, as is Jack Antonoff. And who knows what Taylor Swift is doing with a boyfriend who seems to like the Cheeto who is in The Office.
Yeah, anybody who likes sucking up to somebody who criticizes his wife or girlfriend or significant other. Yeah, that's not a guy that you want to be with.
So Taylor, break up with him. That's what I have to say. I'm a no. And you know who I think isn't autistic is her fucking stupid boyfriend. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Anyway, back to the Taylor Swift episode. I have one little story to add to this, which is that we have a listener, Aaron Bialik, who when the Taylor episode came out, reached out to us, talked to our content manager, River, at the time, talked to me, told me he wanted to use some of the content from our Taylor is Autistic episode, which I will link in the show notes, to create a video about Taylor Swift, who, because of our podcast, became one of his special interests. So
Always
Aaron,
glad to hook someone up with a special interest.
right? So Aaron was in deep burnout. He was recovering, gaining confidence. He had a special interest of learning video production, which I think one of the best ways to come out of burnout is when you can find a new special interest or reattach to your old one. And so he wanted to build a workflow process that worked for him. He wanted to study different things he was interested, like Taylor Swift. So he created a YouTube channel. I'm going to link to it. It is super awesome. The first episode, the first episode is on Taylor Swift. He's working on a part 2. So if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed the Taylor Swift episode, if you are dealing with burnout and not sure how to make it stop for any of these reasons, I recommend you check out his podcast as well. Or his, I guess not a podcast, YouTube channel as well.
And for those of you who don't know, we have videos. We have a YouTube channel, but we don't really update it during the season. But if you want to see the YouTube episodes of our show, you can find that at some address like autisticculturepodcast.com, because we are the Autistic Culture Podcast, and you add .com to things to find them on the internet.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, real quick, what did you love about being autistic this week?
I think I covered. Oh, we were recording this the same day as my Sonic the Hedgehog episode, but this week having my son love Sonic the Hedgehog and decide that is one of his new special interests. We got a Sonic the Hedgehog puzzle. We got little Sonic the Hedgehog figures. We watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. It's been a great week, and I love that to death. It's fantastic. He went to Trail House this week and talked to his friends about Sonic the Hedgehog, and it turns out my son also loves Gashapon. So Trail House got a Gashapon machine.
Oh, that's exciting.
Where you put coins in there, twist it, and a little trinket comes out. But my son doesn't really care about the trinkets. He just loves putting coins in the machines, twisting it, and getting little balls out. So he'll twist it, get the coins, put the balls to the side, let the other kids have the balls, put more coins in. So Trail House has a big bucket of coins, and he just uses the big bucket of coins, gets all the toys out. All the other kids are like, "Yay, toys!" And he just continues twisting.
And I'll just keep twisting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he told me to go downstairs and drink my coffee and leave him alone while he stays upstairs and keeps putting in coins to get toys out. So
love it.
It was a fun time. He got a new special interest. He got a new activity to do. It's good times. We're going to go to Trail House today, and he's probably going to go play with the Gashapon machine. He's going to go see his therapist, Miss Abby. He's going to swing on swings, and he's just going to live the autistic life. It's fantastic.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this trip down Lena Dunham Lane. And I hope you have an amazing week. We'll see you guys on Friday for our advocacy episode.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to check out our advocacy episodes every Friday, where we explore important issues and share strategies for living your best, most authentically autistic life.
And for even more autistic culture, consider becoming a paid member for exclusive perks like Q&A calls live with Matt and I, a virtual writing circle, and our new self-defined living course by Becca Laurie Hector.
Fun fact, it costs us about $8 for every minute you hear or see us on the podcast, but our member pricing is just $8 a month. What a bargain! Buy one, get 500 free. Seriously, if you could afford it, we would really appreciate your contribution. It makes this all possible.
And of course, the best way everyone can support what we're doing here is to rate, review, share, and subscribe on Substack or your favorite podcast app.
This is the way.